Hello world, good morning. My name is Andrew and I'm from America, Tampa, Florida to be exact. That saying, my thoughts control how today will play out and make it a great one. That's something that I've left on that board for about 5 months now. And every time I sit down in my office chair, I take a moment and I read it and I look at it and I remind myself what it means to me. And what it means to me is that my thoughts control my physical reality. Have you ever met somebody that they're always thinking, oh man, not with my luck, well, this is not going to happen, this can't happen to someone like me, I never get that lucky. We all know those type of people, and we've all met them before. And they sit there and they wonder why or how their luck has not changed. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Look that up. That saying can be taken throughout your entire day. If I have a BMW, which I do, ladies, if I have a BMW and it's worth, let's say, $20,000, and I put a for sale sign on it that says $1,000, for sale, come buy it, with my number underneath it, I go to the corner, I leave it there, and I come home and I'm anxious for the calls. And the first phone call comes in, and I answer, hello, how you doing? And they say, hey, I got the $1,000, I'm ready to buy your BMW. I'm ready to go, I want to come buy your car. Then the next call comes in, and they say, hey, I got $1,000, I'm ready to buy your car, and so on and so on. 15 minutes later, you have about 45 phone calls because you're selling a BMW that's worth $20K for $1,000, correct? All right, now let's go back and let's use that scenario with life. If you put a $1,000 sign on your shirt, and you walked around the entire day, and not saying you're going to sell yourself, but let's say you're only asking for $1,000 out of life. What do you expect if all you're getting, or all the offers that you're receiving, are worth $1,000? You get what you ask out of life, is what my point is. And our thoughts create our physical reality. So if you think positive, you'll get that back. There's a book called The Secret. If you enjoy reading, you may want to take a look at it. It's by a lady named Rhonda Byrne. It's an excellent read. I absolutely loved it. And it basically touches on the law of attraction and how your mindset controls everything around you. A man named Einstein named that. I mean, a man named Einstein said that. And he's had a lot of writing, he's written a lot about it, and he's left a lot behind for us to actually go in and research if we'd like. And Einstein had a little bit more of a scientific approach, and it goes kind of back to the atoms, that an atom has no solidity. It cannot be a solid. So therefore, an atom is constantly vibrating. It's nothing more than a vibrational frequency. And the reason why we have harder frequencies, such as a table, versus my muscles, which are not hard, is because they're vibrating at slower frequencies or faster frequencies. And now scientists are starting to finally discover that our thoughts also have frequencies. Every thought that we have emits a certain frequency, a vibrational frequency. Excuse me, get some water. All right, a vibrational frequency that emits into the universe. And if we're one and the universe is one with us, then everything that we emit will naturally come back to us. Now, going a little bit more in depth into that, I'll give you an example that they used in The Secret. They took Olympian track runners and they sat them down in a chair, and what they did is they had them run the race, the 400-meter race, in their mind. And they hooked the machines up to their brains, and they saw exactly what was firing off in their brain as they were sitting down imagining this race. Throughout the finish, throughout every step, they walked them through it, and they graphed everything and anything that fired in their brain as they were doing this race, this fake race in a seat. And then they took these same exact Olympians and they brought them out to a track. And they did the same exact hookups on their mind, and they did the same exact stats as they ran the race. This time they were actually physically running the race. And what they found is that their brain didn't know the difference. It fired off at the same rate as if they were running the race versus when they were sitting in a chair and running it in their mind. Now, and that sounds a little bit not off course, it sounds a little bit out there. However, think of it this way. Nothing in this world, there isn't anything that has ever been created without thinking it first. Whether it's an invention, whether it's going to make a sandwich in your fridge, it has to be a thought process before it turns into a physical action. So therefore, thought will always come prior to physical action. So therefore, thoughts control your physical reality. And I can dig deeper into that, but this is why I want you to research. I'm just going to do a few more minutes. What else should I talk on? Because this is really what I love. Let me tell you a great story. I buy and sell motorcycles as well as cars. And I went to Ocala, Florida, which is about 2 hours north of here. And I met an old man. His name is Al Chicharian, and he's 70 years old. And this man sold me his motorcycle for health reasons. You could tell he was bummed out. His wife passed away. He was trying to sell a house that he could have sold a few years ago for $300,000. He's trying to sell it now, trying to get $115K out of it, and it's been on the market for 3 years. Lost his wife, selling his bike for health reasons, and this man was just on the outs. He just a very bad mindset. I don't want to say a bad mindset, but he wasn't the happiest person in the world. And I met him, and as I was loading his motorcycle that I purchased off of him, a couple in an Escalade came up, and they asked him if the house was for sale. And right away, very standoffish, acted pretty much like a jerk. Told him that no investors, nobody's even allowed in the house unless they're serious. Basically, he was just used to investors coming to his door, lowballing him, acting as if they were interested when they weren't interested in his home. He thought this was the same scenario. And granted, after 3 years of non-successful transactions, you may lean that route as well. Now, what happened is, I told him, hey, exchange numbers. I told the people that were there, this is a very nice home inside. I was just inside it. It's brand new construction. I remember him saying that prior to the people pulling up. And they exchanged numbers at that point. Al wasn't going to call them. I told him, Al, go into this with an open mind. 99 out of 100 times these investors will want to buy that house and flip it. You're right. However, there's going to be one time, and there are situations when these investors need homes for a family member, they need homes for a friend, they have to buy homes for themselves. There's going to be a time when they need a home for something other than investment purposes. And I brought up a great point, I felt, and he, you know what, he said, you're right. I'm going to give them a call, and I'm going to see if they're interested. Well, come to find out, these were investors. And these investors needed a home for their son, moving from Miami in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. He's been trying to sell his home for 3 years. And before they even got there, we were talking about meditation, the power of positive thinking, the law of attraction. And it was funny because his chiropractor had told him the same thing, that he needs to kind of concentrate on meditation, because the standard traditional Western medicine was not really helping him out as much as it should. So these people come up, they exchange numbers, they come look at the house on a Saturday. He calls me 10 minutes after they leave. Andrew, you're my lucky charm, you're my lucky charm. They made an offer on the house, they want to buy it. The only thing is I need to be out in 3 weeks. An old 70-year-old man needs to be out of his home in 3 weeks that he's been living in for 15 years. So we're going to help him out with that. But the great news is that this man sold his home. He hasn't sold his home in 3 years, and the people that we met, and it might be coincidence, but anytime between that Saturday and the first time Al and I had met, we've gone to breakfast, we've gone to the casino. I spent a few hours here and there with him, just kind of hanging out with him, getting to know him, trying to keep him positive, because I'm one, if you give, you receive. In order to receive anything in this world, it starts with feeling grateful and giving to others. How can you expect more when you're not already grateful for what you have? Think about that, because you're never going to get what you want out of life unless you are currently grateful for what you have. And I bring that point up because it's very important for your well-being and for your happiness. And it starts with being grateful. That's a very important part of the power of positivity. So Al got the offer, and coincidentally enough, that Saturday, moments before Al called me excited, I was telling my girlfriend that I want to take a step into real estate. And we had watched a Will Smith video on YouTube that was absolutely wonderful. Type in Will Smith, Law of Attraction, Jim Carrey, Law of Attraction, Oprah Winfrey, Law of Attraction. You'll find the same videos. Absolutely unbelievable. It's kind of